everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to start egg business from your backyard. Okay, a small scale egg business, right? See, this is me picking the eggs. You can see them, they are big. Let me show you around the chicken, then we'll go ahead and talk about the egg business in proper. So these are the chickens here, taking water. I'm going to go ahead and pick eggs that I just picked. So now let's go into talking about the business. So now let's talk about the business in proper, okay? I hope you can hear me. So this is majorly for stay-at-home moms or moms who want a side business where they can make, it's not going to be so much money, it's not a quick money scheme, no, but it's something that grows over time. And trust me, except you have like hundreds of millions or a good amount of money before your bank will give you an interest of as high as 25,000 monthly for the money you save with them. So if you're willing to make extra 25,000 naira or 30,000 naira, as the case may be, right from your home, then do well to continue watching this video because I'm going to spill all the tea and it is something I am into. And yeah, I'll be very glad to answer any of your questions if you have any. So let's dive into it. Okay, so we'll start with how much capital you can invest and the number of beds you can start with to get up to 25,000 to 30,000 naira monthly from egg business. All right, so okay, if you have a yard or a compound where you have space at the back, then you can start this. But if you are you're a tenant, then you do well to ask your landlord first if they support you having beds in the compound. So now statistics, you would need to start with 30 beds and you don't need to buy them when they're little chicks. You're going to get them at a stage where they are just about to lay. They call them point of lay birds. Okay, you're going to get them at that point and you're going to get 30. You can leave them as an open range, which is allowing them move around the space where you're going to keep them, or you can get a cage. But for the purpose of this video, you're not going to get a cage, you're going to use an open space for this. All right, so when I started with this 30 beds 2 years ago, the cost of one point of lay bed was 3,000 naira and I got 30. That amounted to 90,000 naira. They came in at about 14 weeks, and before the beds start laying, you would need to feed them for 2 to 3 months. But for mine, I fed them for 3 months before they started laying eggs. So mind you, I've spent 90,000 naira for 30 beds, and then the cost of feeding the beds for 3 months until they start laying amounted to 115,000 naira. Just let me be sure. Yeah, 115,000 naira, 200 naira. I wrote this on paper so that I would be very clear with the figures when giving you. So yeah, so when you add that 115,200 naira to the 90,000 naira, that amounted to 205,200 naira. So that is the investment cash you're going to start with, 205,200 naira. I don't know about today. Now beds might have increased to like 5,000 naira. You're going to ask, do your findings and ask how much, and get the good price for your beds, okay, and buy from somewhere that the beds have been given vaccine so you don't have issues like the one I have. None have died. Let's go into how you really make money from this. Let me not talk too much, okay? So like I said, you're starting with 30 beds. I've told you how much you would start with, like your investment cash. So now I'm going to go into my expense per month, and I'll also call out figures for you. When I'm done with the expense, I'll go in with what I then get in and then the profits. So for expense, these 30 beds eat 3.5 bags of feed, a month. So they eat one bag of feed a week, and sometimes they don't finish that bag. So by the time you accumulate the leftover, it amounts to 3.5 bags of feed for these 30 beds. And one bag of feed costs 19,200 naira from my area, and I'm using one of the good brands of feed. I'm using New Hope. So that feed is extremely very good. So now, if we multiply 19,200 by 3.5 bag, that would amount to 67,200 naira. So that is what I spend on feeding for them every month. Now, transportation, because I do not go to buy these feeds myself, I order for it and then I use a rider to get the feed home. Now, per bag of feed, depend on how, if you're buying everything once, it saves you. You can spend 1,000 naira, but I buy them weekly. Okay, as I sell the eggs, I then you know use from the money, the proceeds, to get the feed. Use from the money to get the feed. So yeah, a month I spend 3,500 naira for the 3.5 bags of feed. So it's like 1,000 naira per feed, 500 naira for half bag of feed. Okay. Then I also pay someone who comes to clean the chicken house, and I pay 4,000 naira monthly for this. Okay, so like I was saying, I spend 4,000 naira for the person who comes to clean the poultry house. So this person comes in once a week, so that's 1,000 naira per week for these 30 beds. Okay, and then I also give them vaccine every month. It is very important to vaccinate your birds, and the cost of the vaccine is 1,700 naira. Now, the total cost of my expense, including the feed, including the transport, the cleaning, the vaccine, everything amounts to 76,400 naira monthly. Now, let's talk about how much I make from it and then the profit I get from this business. Okay, so per week, the 30 beds give me 4.5 crates, sometimes 5, but we're just going to go with the minimum, which is 4.5 crates of eggs. So, all right, one crate of egg I sell at 5,500 naira for 4 weeks. If we go with 4.5 crates times 5,500 naira per crate for 4 weeks, that amounts to 99,000 naira. So if we take 99,000 naira as our earnings, taking away 76,400 naira, which is our expense, we're left with 25,100 naira. If you calculate this 25,100 naira monthly for 1 year, which is 12 months, you're left with 301,200 naira. So tell me this is not a good business. Imagine running a business that there's really no stress. Like, you're not even marketing these eggs. It sells up fast. You don't need to tell so many people. Once one person knows you're selling it, that's it. I most times it's demand more than supply, because when they come, I'm like, there's no egg, because it's just 4.5 crates to 5 crates weekly. So it sells as the egg is, as the crate gets complete, it's going off. So the business is steady. Tell me this is not a good side business. All right, so now let's go into the question of how long the chicken would lay, when you would break even. Remember, you started with 205,200 as your capital, when you would break even, and how much you make from it. So now, birds lay for 2 years. If you overstretch them, they could lay for 2 years and 6 months before the egg production drops. At that point, you need to sell off the chicken and then, restart the business again, or maybe expand if you want to go into large scale farm, like moving it away from your backyard to maybe a farm and all that. So now let me explain. For 2 years, which is the minimum number of time that you can get eggs from the beds. For 2 years, you would have gotten 602,400 naira. That's your profits, okay? So if you take your investment money out of that 602,400 naira, your investment money of 205,200 naira, you're going to be left with 472,000 naira. That's a lot. After 2 years, you have 472,000 naira. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you've been sitting down saying, I don't know what to do, I don't have money, this is a very lucrative business to go into. And like I said, if you get the beds from a good supplier, you wouldn't have mortality rates. I know we are not God to control how this works, but I have not had any bed that died from the ones that I have gotten, okay? And even if one or two dies, it's still a good one because you can supplement with noila chickens, because these birds I'm talking of, they are layer beds. Your female noila beds, they also lay eggs, okay? So you can supplement, like you can, if let's say two of the laying beds die, you can get noila females to cover up. You can get 2 or 3 noila females to cover up that one that died, so that you can still maximize your profit, okay? So now you have 472,000 naira. But after 2 years, these beds can also fetch you money because you switch their feed from layers to finisher and then sell off this bed as for meat, okay? So if you have a shop, you can sell it off in kilos, and if you don't have a shop, you can sell off to the women who sell in market at a rate of 2,500 naira. And you all know that things have gone up now. This 2,500 naira I'm telling you of is for something like 2 years ago. As that now you would sell off at 4,000 naira. But let's go with 2,500 naira. So if one bed costs 2,500 naira, that means the 30 beds will be 2,500 naira by 30, which will give you 75,000 naira. So now, if you add 75,000 naira to your 472,000 naira, that's already over 500,000 naira in 2 years. Something that you started with 200,000 naira. So at this point, you can choose to increase the bed, but I wouldn't advise that because since it's within a residence, so that you avoid smells and rodents and all. And let's come into how to manage rodents for people who are afraid of rats in their compound. You could get a dog, right? Like for myself, there are dogs in the compound, and there's no issue of rodents here because they kill them when they come around. The dogs hunt and kill them, so I have no issues of rodents or anything like that. So do let me know if you're going to be trying this as a side business to help yourself, or if you've tried this, whatever challenges you've had, I would love to answer in the comment section. And if you're new to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.